So, shock announcement yesterday from Airfix. I'm standing next to the Messerschmitt Me-410 Hornisse at Cosford in the museum, thinking to myself, haha, this is kit of the week. How cool is that? And then I get a ping from Airfix saying, hey, we've released a new kit. The Me-410 Hornisse in 1/72nd scale. Oh well, guess I'll be making this one as well. Have a look at what's in the box of this brand new kit right here on Gary's Stuff. Hello there, I'm Gary. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to my hotel room here in Telford, just down the road from the Scale Model World Show, where Airfix announced the Me-410 Hornisse in 1/72nd scale. Now, I've just finished making the Italeri version of this, so it's going to be interesting to see what's inside here and make this as well. I'm going to make these as a standalone video, but then I'll also compare the two kits as well. There'll be a separate video for that. And of course, today I'll be having a look at what you get inside the box for your money if you're thinking about buying one. If you enjoy the show, I really hope you do. Do please remember, give it the old imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. And if you haven't done so yet, please do subscribe to the channel. Click the bell and you'll be notified of all my future content as it is published. And of course, if you want to support the channel, you can do it through Super Thanks by becoming a channel member or by using any of my online affiliate programs. One of these is the Airfix program. If you want to buy your stuff from the Airfix online store, then please go through the link in the information box below, because anything you buy there at no extra cost to you, Airfix will make a donation to the running of this channel, and you can still collect your hobby reward points, and you can still get your Airfix 10% discount if you're a club member. If you're a club member, please remember that this comes with a token for 2 flying hours. Now, if you're not a club member, or if you're a club member and you don't collect your flying hours tokens, please do consider giving them to Models for Heroes. A link to this very excellent charity is in the information box below. Enough of all of that, let's get on then and see what you get inside the box of the Messerschmitt Me-410 Hornisse in 1/72nd scale from Airfix. Here it is, the box of the Me-410A1 in 1/72nd scale from Airfix. On the front, as usual, nice piece of Adam 2B box art, this one showing an aircraft over the coast of Norway. Here we have the code 04066, which means it's a Series 4 kit. On this long side, we have some information about the Me-410. We have the finished dimensions, which are a length of 175 millimeters, width of 226 millimeters, and there are 137 pieces included, not all of which you need to make both versions. The two schemes are here, Scheme A and Scheme B. We'll have a closer look at those in a while. The colour callouts for both the schemes are here, and all the colours are actually the same. At this end, we have the skill level, which is 2. So that means if you've made any kind of kit before, this will be absolutely fine. If you've never made a kit before, you probably can achieve it anyway. You just need to really just take care with it, a lot more care than maybe you would if you actually already knew what you were doing. There's also a token for 2 flying hours. On the other long side, there are just some warnings in many languages. The Cartograph logo here confirms that the decals supplied are by Cartograph, which is great news. The copyright date is 2023, so it is indeed a brand new kit. And of course, there's the usual warning labels here. It is intended for people of 8 years and older, primarily. So let's have a look and see what we get inside the box. Now, I have opened this before, so the big plastic bag containing all the grey parts is missing, but the parts are all here. There's about 5 frames or so. We'll have a look at them in a minute, but they normally come in a big polythene bag. Also in that polythene bag is a second polythene bag containing all of the transparent parts. Again, we'll have a close look at those in a bit. There is the usual instruction leaflet. There's a separate and proper 4-color printed scheme layout and decal layout and stencil layout for the aircraft in both schemes. And of course, there's the decal sheet itself. Let's have a look at all these individual pieces in more detail. Frame A contains the starboard side of the aircraft. Fuel tanks here, one of the engine nacelles, a gun pack, the main spar, wheels, most of the cockpit detail, and these are the interiors of the wheelbase as well. Frame B, we have the single piece bottom half of the wing, the 2 top halves of the wing, and these are the radiator flaps that sit into this notch on the trailing edge of the aircraft's wing. Here we have frame C. We have the port side of the fuselage, propellers, the other engine nacelle, the rudder, and here we have the tailplanes, the horizontal stabilizers, if you will. They're available with completely flat and also slightly drooped, about 10-degree drooped as well. These pieces are the fixed parts of the tailplane here, so that the drooped elevators are actually pre-molded as an option. Not entirely sure yet why you would do that, but anyway, there we go. Frame D, and we have most of the undercarriage parts here. We have a few extra bits from the cockpit area. We have what else we've got? The racks for the fuel tanks, doors for the undercarriage, aerials, the balance horns for the ailerons and radio aerials. Oh, and the doors for the tailplane as well, and the tail wheel as well. So tail wheel doors. Frame E, we have more bits and pieces of the engine and radiator assemblies, the engine exhausts here, propeller spinners, the ailerons. What is interesting is you also have the slats for the front wing in retracted and extended versions, and these come complete, so it's not like you've got a part that you then just either fit the aileron, the slat up against it or further out, like a lot of, say, BF-109 kits. This one actually has the whole part molded with the slat extended and the leading edge of the wing underneath it that would normally be hidden when this is retracted. Kind of an interesting piece of molding in itself. Frame F, and we have some of the firepower options for this aircraft, including the 50mm gun and the extra gun pack here. 2 different, well, they actually fit in the bomb bay, what would be the bomb bay under the nose in the bomber aircraft, but obviously they have these gun packs instead. So the bomb bay doors are closed and you have the guns as well. Then the clear parts, these are on frame J. So we've just seen frame F for the gun packs specific to this kit. So that needs a G and H, which are yet to be seen. Remember, this aircraft came as a Schnellbomber, fast bomber version, and there are no bombs in this particular set. That could point to another release. Also, it was available as a torpedo bomber with a radar in the nose. Maybe that will also be a future release. We'll have to wait and see, sadly. But in the meantime, here is the transparent parts. You've got 2 separate roof areas for the main canopy. The sides of the main canopy are common. The front has 3 different settings, which is a little odd for an aircraft with 2 options, but there we go. More bits and pieces, and of course a landing light piece as well. Intriguingly, the Italeri kit had a 2-part main canopy and a separate windshield. This has got a sort of integrated windshield and main canopy area, but with the sides as separate pieces. We'll see how well those go together later on. The instructions are very much of the normal Airfix way of doing things now. You have a history of the aircraft here with some specifications and the same information in French and German in here and on the inside in Spanish and Swedish. Then have general assembly instructions in many languages and of course the translation of all the icons used. And then the instructions themselves, these are multicolored instructions. So we have different shadings for some areas that get painted black. We have blue shading for transparent pieces, and has been there for a while. Something you've done previously, and the next step is highlighted in red. So you can actually, I find these actually quite useful. Sometimes they give you a really good hint about where something should go instead of just, yeah, it goes there and that bit goes there. You look at it and it's, oh, I see it sits around the back, and that makes a lot more sense. Sometimes they also highlight bits that have to be painted in a different color as they have here. Other than that, everything's fairly straightforward. I'm very glad to see they're keeping the spar arrangement for setting the wings. That has worked very well in the past. I hope it does this time as well. There are different options for doors up or down. There are different pieces whether you want the doors up and down, in fact, which is very good. Then there are the various options here of whether the elevators are down or actually flat. I'm not sure why they would be down. The slats as well on the front of the leading edge there. There's gun options, as we've mentioned before, and then there are the radiators. There's options again there for radiators where you have in the radiators flaps open or closed. So that's quite a lot of choice. Oddly enough, they go to all this trouble about having the radiator flaps open. They have separate ailerons. They have this strange thing with the elevators, and yet there's no open or closed flaps. That would have been an extra 4 pieces, basically. Kind of don't understand why they would do that. Maybe, given all the parts count that's been spent on here. But there we go. Just strange. Maybe I'll ask them one day. The ailerons have these balance horns that go in as well, of course. The interesting thing here is that the gun barbettes, they're designed so you could actually put them on either side through this common piece, and then they would move up and down. Obviously, the guns won't move around in and out, but you will be able to move the guns up and down. Whether that's important to you or not, I actually don't know. The design of the undercarriage is different to what I've seen before in other kits. It's kind of strange. The tail wheel door, if it's in flight, you can have it closed, or obviously you can have it open if you have the tail wheel down. It does come with the option of carrying wing fuel tanks as well. And they've got the final pieces in here, the 3 parts, canopy and windshield, as I've mentioned before, aerials all around the aircraft as well to be set. And that is that. There's nothing that looks overly complicated, but you do get a surprising amount of choice in things that I'm not entirely sure why you need to choose between them, especially those elevators. The kit comes with 2 schemes in the box. The first is for 11th Destroyer 26 from Gardermoen in Norway in 1945. So Destroyer Squadron, this actually is supposed to mean. So this is a really pretty. This tailplane is quite interesting as well. All the colour callouts here. These are obviously the later war colours. So you've got the black green for the propellers and boss. Although it's got a spiral on it as well. There's a decal for the spiral. Then there's grey green and grey violet on the top. RLM 74 and 75, and RLM 76 light blue underneath. And there's kind of a funky bit of spray work going on there, and of course all the decals, all of these individual little stencils there. It's not too much, so it should actually look really quite cool. And the same for scheme B, which is stub 2 of the Destroyer 26 at Königsberg in 1944. This is the one with the 50mm gun that was used as a bomber destroyer gun. It had a effective range of over 1,000 yards, which is way outside of the bomber's own defensive armament range. However, they're very difficult to aim accurately at altitude, and when there's sort of escort fighters buzzing around and all, that wasn't that great a thing. They were quite prone to jamming, and they didn't carry many rounds. However, it looks pretty cool. You know, looking back in history, it looks pretty cool. The camouflage is much more of the mottled effect all over it than in 1945, but essentially the same colours are being used. The decal sheet, because most of the decals are actually common, there's just a few markings that are slightly different. They haven't split them up into three as they normally would have, like common decals, then option A, and then option B. The vast majority of them are used in both options, so they haven't bothered with that. The colours, such as they are, look very good. Registration looks good. Everything that's grand about them, to be honest with you. But we need to have a quick closer look to see at the quality of the actual printing. And as if you ever doubted it, the quality is superb here. Usual 0.5mm pencil piece. You can see that some of this is like 0.2mm tall, and it's pretty much readable. The registration is absolutely spot on here anyway. And I just wonder here whether it just slips a tiny, tiny bit, that red compared with the black. I'm not sure. I'll see if I can find another red and black piece and see if it's the same. No, that looks pretty good. So, I don't know, maybe that's just the design of the decal itself. Everything else, the registration between the colours is absolutely fantastic. Very clear, very clean, very crisp. Just what you expect from Castograph decals. Instrument panels, they're pretty basic, I guess. You're not really going to see very much of these anyway. But, you know, they'll do. There's not all that much detail that you can get from these. Like, I really don't think it's worth waiting to see if there's an Eduard look set for this, unless you're really very, very pernickety. And, of course, this doesn't have the option for an open canopy anyway. So you're definitely going to be looking at it through clear, transparent plastic. But for its purposes, very, very good. There it is then. A good looking kit. Looks really nice. Designed by Matt, who did the Anson. So you know, it's going to be designed well. It's going to be well manufactured. I think I'm really looking forward to making this. Kind of wish I hadn't made the Italeri one as well, but then good that I can compare the two. Bear in mind, of course, the Italeri is 2 decades old. This is absolutely brand new, so it will be very interesting to compare them, knowing the things I found that I didn't like on the Italeri and things I did like on the Italeri kit. So do remember to come back later in the week for the build video of this kit. If you'd like to know when that pops up, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell and you'll be notified of all my future content. And of course, if you like what you see today, or indeed on any of my other videos, do please give them the old Imperial thumbs up on the like button below, because every like counts. Thank you so very much for watching today. Hope to see you again very soon on the channel. Take good care and goodbye.